So switching gears to groceries here in Canada, we circle back to the scandal within Loblaws and major grocery chains. Obviously, Loblaws being the major one in speculation over price gouging and whether or not their prices are reflective of inflation or if it's price gouging based on company profits. Um, this has been going on for a little while now. There was the whole boycott Loblaws movement back in May that we covered a bit on that. We covered a lot about, Loblaws and Galen Weston and the scandals within him. Now, there's been an update in a settlement that now Loblaws and George Weston, which is the parent company of Loblaws, is forced to pay in a class action lawsuit. So it says Loblaws George Weston to settle class action over bread fixing prices for $500 million. Now, I remember this a couple years ago. A similar scandal broke out where they price gouge people on bread, and customers of Loblaws Incorporated, that's, Zayre's, No Frills, Loblaws stores, um, Shoppers Drug Mart, so on and so forth, were able to go to these stores, and as long as you confirm that you have bought bread at one of their locations, they gave you, I think it was like a $25 gift card or something in a settlement to customers, as an apology for price gouging. And here we are again. Here we are again. So it just seems like history is just repeating itself the more we don't learn from it and the more we just don't retaliate from this. So it says Loblaws and its parent company, George Weston Limited, have agreed to pay $500 million in a settlement of a class action lawsuit regarding their involvement in an alleged bread price fixing scheme. The class action case was brought against a group of companies, including Loblaws and the Weston Companies, Metro, Walmart Canada, Giant Tiger, and Sobeys, and its owner, Empire Corporation. The plaintiffs allege these companies participated in a 14-year industry-wide price-fixing conspiracy between 2001 and 2015, which artificially increased packaged bread prices. So, again, it's no stranger to people that these large corporations, obviously, they're going to be some sort of markup. That's why, you look at comparative to discount chains like No Frills to higher end stores like Loblaws. Of course, there's going to be an increase in pricing between the two. That's certain. That's what people are aware of. But when there's deliberate, actual non markup reasoning to price gouge on stuff like bread, for example, and it goes kind of under the rug for 14 years because obviously Loblaws has lobbyists and they have lawyers being part of the government, and they're able to conspire along with this. Um, it's just miraculous that now we're finally, like, now in 2024, this is being brought to attention again. And, you know, you have people like Jagmeet Singh and the NDP, they're trying to like shake their fist and being like, we're going to retaliate. This is not part of the grocery conduct of code, which, by the way, is a made up thing, by the way. That's the conduct of grocery stores. Like, come on, give me a break. I know that's all just theater. I know that they're not going to do anything about this because, again, giant corporations like Loblaws intertwine with the government. That's why they're able to get away with this for over a decade, regardless of political party. Anyway, it says George Weston will pay $247.5 million in cash, while Loblaws will pay $252.5 million, which includes $156.5 million in cash and credit for the $96 million previously paid to customers by Loblaws under the Loblaw card program. So I think that was what I mentioned earlier, where they gave gift cards to customers who got gouged with the cost of bread. that was previously caught. Loblaw chairman Galen Weston, chairman and executive of George Weston, apologized on behalf of the companies. On behalf of the Weston groups of companies, we are sorry for the price fixing behavior we discovered and self reported in. That right there is hilarious. They're apologizing for the fact that they discovered something that they reported themselves. Like, oh, well, we did our own investigation and we realized the thing we actually did and we're trying to cover up was actually at fault. Like, come on. Come on. Internal investigation. Loblaws doing their internal investigations on price gouging. Come on. This behavior should have never have happened. We have the privilege of serving Canadians from coast to coast. That privilege needs to be earned each and every day. Reaching a settlement on this matter was the right thing to do in response to previous behavior that did not meet our values and ethical standards. I mean, the fact this is coming from Galen Weston is just hilarious. Galen Weston, known for many corruption scandals within his family, within this company, and other assets within his side of things. And he also sits on board of Sick Kids Hospital, just to let you know, because that's how much of a philanthropist this billionaire is in Canada. Just like, you know, how Bill Gates is, you know, so helpful and generous to the medical society, even though he has no background in medicine whatsoever. The same goes with Galen Weston. The Competition Bureau began investigating alleged bread price fixing in January 2016. At the time, Weston Foods and Loblaws, both subsidized of George Weston, had previously admitted their participation in an industry-wide price-fixing arrangement and received immunity from prosecution in exchange for cooperating. So again, that's why I don't believe any of the government, anyone, whether it be in the NDP, the Liberals, no matter who it is. I don't believe them when they say that we're going to crack down on grocery prices. We're going to crack. They don't do it because they're part of this cooperation. They're part intertwined with this corruption to allow it to happen. And regardless of who's in charge, regardless of what political party is, they all have their lobbyists. They all campaign to the same donors, and they're going to continue on this. The Bureau alleged in court documents in 2018 that at least $1.50 was added to the price of a loaf of bread during the 16-year conspiracy. In a statement, George Weston Limited said that companies apologized to Canadians for their role in the decade-old industry-wide bread price fixing arrangement. Per Bank, President and Chief Executive Officer of Loblaws said Canada counts on Loblaws to provide great value. We will continue to work hard to deliver on that commitment. Lawyers representing the plaintiffs say the payouts, subject to court appeal, is the largest antitrust settlement in Canadian history. This is a significant milestone in Canadian class action history and sends a strong message that conduct that harms consumers will not be tolerated, said Jan Strosberg, managing partner of Strosberg Wingfield Sasso LLP. So, at least, I will say this. I give credit to the fact that at least there is some sort of movement forward to this. That even though when we covered about back in May on the Boycott Loblaws initiative, that I said that, you know, people are allowed to do what they want. If they want to boycott Loblaws, you know, more power to you. But this is what happens when you have giant monopolies that don't have, you know, this recognition to understand that buying up all these other corporations and being part of this huge dynamic monopoly and not having responsibility and acknowledgement and accountability, it's harder to boycott. It's a lot harder to boycott because you're not just saying, "Oh, I'm not going to go to a Loblaw store." That means you cannot go to any of the grocery stores it contains. That means you can't do any banking with President's Choice Financial. You cannot do any business whatsoever of any assets that Gale and Weston owns. You can't get your, Shoppers Drug Mart prescriptions. You can't do any of that because the fact that this monopoly has bought up all the competition. And this is what happens when capitalism eats itself. Like, you just don't have healthy competition, which, in order to have healthy capitalism, you need competition. You need people to compete. You need other corporations to compete with one another. But we don't have competition. We just have monopolies, just buy out the competition and then do whatever they want with this. And they're just able to get away with, price gouging on bread. So, and like I said, it's good that they're acknowledging this. It's good that this is brought to attention. My instinct, though, is nothing's really going to come out of this because the fact that this has happened before. They tried to apologize to the public. We all got, the gift cards beforehand. And, Galen Weston is not, is not stupid. Galen Weston is a conniving person, and he's able to get away with stuff like this. He's able to, mix around and shuffle money in places and get his lobbyists to just get away with this. That's why he was able to do this for over a decade. And now, all of a sudden, 2024, because people started the whole boycott Loblaws movement and started to see the price gouging post-pandemic, that now they're finally acknowledging this. So I give credit to that, but I'm just saying nothing's really going to be, certain. Nothing's ever actually going to be certain until the fact that we actually get away and, cut the line of corruption and stop this partnership between corporations and the government. Like, until we get rid of that, none of this is going to get fixed. And that's just what we're seeing. So I don't know what's going to make of this. I don't know if people are just going to get the gift cards once again as a sorry for, paying more on bread. But don't expect this to go away. Don't expect this that, oh, this is the final apology and we're actually going to change. Because if it's happened this long and they've been caught before and they've been caught multiple times, it's never going to end, sadly.